Now, as a man, we know what to do and what not to do when it comes to a woman. Senseless violence always happens in today's age. But for this couple, some things are inevitable. So here's what we know so far. Dallas Bertran was born in the year 1982. I come to this conclusion because I seen where his wife's license plate had a customizable tag and it reads 82 Jan 10 with a Georgia license plate. People often do this gesture to state something significant, and the number one choice is their birthday. Now just bear with me real quick. And our timeline is 2024, but if his wife used that date as her birthday, then it would be the year 2019 or 2020 because she referenced that she was 37 years old.
Daddy, I am 37 years old.
So what? You still my one and only.
Her and Dallas went to the prom together, so 9 times out of 10 they're the same age as each other. No proof has been seen that it's 2024, so I'll just say it's like 2019. 2020 was a chaotic year with COVID, and I don't see any masks or any businesses shut down, so we'll leave it at 2019. Speaking of wife, he was married to Ava, and she was his high school sweetheart. Now, he was born to Linda Bertran, and he was the youngest of 5 siblings, with Cody being the oldest at 39 years old. The others are Keith, Morris, and Troy. Cody was killed trying to rob an elderly lady from the church choir, and she shot him. Unlike the rest of the Bertran crew, Dallas graduated high school and tried to stay out of trouble, unlike the rest of his brothers, but his family, especially his mother, had a negative impact on him. Now, Morris tried to keep Dallas in line, and you could tell he was some sort of decent because he was the only Bertran that had a job. I couldn't find a reference of his job, but his wife works at a bank as a financial advisor. Dallas grew up in a small town of Georgia. Morpeth County is to be said to be the name of the district just by looking at the ticket booth at the fair, and the town name is Morpeth Hill just by looking at the big sale at the church for the community. Now, I couldn't find it on the map, but we do know it's an hour and 30 minutes away from Atlanta.
And an hour and a half away, there's this place.
It's just an hour and a half away. I'm coming.
It's okay.
Dallas and his brothers terrorized the town, and they put a handful of people in the hospital, and Benji being their number one target. Even though they caused damage in Morpeth Hill, him and Ava resides in Atlanta. Now, Dallas has a best friend named Jim, and I'm pretty sure he was the best man in his wedding because he always referred to him as his best friend, and whenever something is wrong with Dallas, Jim is called first. At the wedding, though, Dallas disrespects his wife. Matter of fact, he does a lot of disrespecting. Looking at a list that Ava's friend gave her, we can see Dallas has been an awful husband, even doing some jacked up stuff for her at a time when people come together as a family, like Thanksgiving. The wedding is mentioned too. Going deep, we find out that Dallas killed his dad. He did this because his mom told him to. She told him to because he was physically abusing her.
Yeah, you're fucking crazy. I was trying to be like my father, but he was beating my mama ass all the time. So that's what happened to you. Look at you. I had to kill his ass.
Now that's fair enough, but looking at the mom, she's a live wire herself. So what does that say about his father? He must have been a monster. Clarence and Jean were the in-laws to Dallas, but they disliked him a lot. So much that they tried to convince the guy that they put in the hospital to date his wife. Well, I know one reason for him saying he was going to divorce her. A few years back, he said he didn't want a woman with 40-year-old P, and those was his wife's exact words. Look for yourself.
He said that he doesn't know any man that wants 40-year-old P-word.
See? Well, Dallas wasn't happy with the divorce, and he started stalking. Even went after Ava's mom in the grocery store and breaking back into the house. He would come from upstairs or downstairs. Dude was crazy. Imagine going to work and being at your friend's house, and he just pops up. Well, that's what happened, and he did both of these. This led to getting a restraining order on him. Now, there are certain types of restraining orders. You can get a regular order or you can get an emergency protective order. These orders are to protect the health and safety of the abused person and his or her family or household members. The emergency one is immediate. I'm assuming that it is a regular order because he said it was served to him at his job.
She has a restraining order against you. You going to jail, because I'm calling the police.
I was served at my job.
Still, no reference to the name of the job. All that threatening turned Ava's dad, Clarence, against Dallas, and he went to approach him, maybe even hurt him. Well, doing this led to another episode of the Bertrans putting another person in the hospital. He was shot and beaten, but this just wasn't any regular old person. Dallas need to understand that this was his wife's dad, and once again, if you pay attention, it's ran by the mother's orders. Now, all these bad events come in a time span of about a month. At his brother's funeral, he and his brothers had to bury his brother Cody in the yard of the house because they felt the church folks was making a mockery of them and they wanted nothing from the church or what they had to offer. Not even the casket. See, the Bertrans grew up very poor. One motive of saying this is because 9 times out of 10, when you are in poverty, that leads to violence, and they were known for it. Another motive is that by looking at the home that they grew up in, it's a single wide trailer and it's run down. Clothesline, abandoned cars all over the place, just standard stuff. Now, I don't want to offend anybody, so there's nothing wrong with living like this if this is the only way you can survive. Now, Ava leaves for about a week because Dallas wants a divorce, so she comes back home after a week, and now Dallas is stalking her and Benji. He gets to a point where he's going to show her the tough side of him and breaks into her house again. This time around, he has a gun and attacks her. He beats her, and she suddenly shoots him with a shotgun. Dallas' life is over at the age of 37. Now, I wonder how this is going to play out. Yes, I understand that they are bad kids, but for Ava's dad to disrespect the family at the funeral by saying negative stuff is just wrong in my book. And Ava has a restraining order on Dallas, but she contacts him first with pictures and seduction of her and Benji. And if the police look at the records, they would say she called him first. In Georgia, they would probably violate Ava for breaking the order or the restraining order. See, he has a lawyer, so maybe he would pick the case up for the family and do some investigations himself. Yes, he hit her, but it could have all been avoided. I smell a silver suit for the Bertrans. Now, if you feel like I said something wrong or left something out, please feel free to tell me how you feel. Peace.